Well, good morning, and here we are. We're approaching the little town or village of Barwon Heads on the Bellarine Peninsula. Today we're going to go visit a few towns, and Barwon Heads is the first one. As you can see, we're coming up to the main street here. There's a big property joint on the left hand side there. And it doesn't look like there's a lot in the main street. There's more clothes shops and few cafes, but it's a big holiday destination down here. You got the surf beaches just a couple of kilometres and maybe 1 kilometre down the road, and the Barwon River. It's a Sunday morning, pretty early. It's only just after 7 AM, so it's nice and quiet at the moment, as you can see. A fish and chip shop there on the left hand side. And a little coffee shop over there on the right. And yeah, it's a real little village atmosphere. Now I'll give you some stats on Barwon Heads. The population here is 4,353, but it could double or triple in the summer season with all the holiday homes down here. Very popular place, as I said. We might turn left here, we might head towards the Barwon River. Now, out of that population of 4,353, 48.4% are male and 51.6% are female. And the average age is 46. There's a famous Barwon Heads hotel there on the right hand side, and the bridge that goes over to Ocean Grove just straight ahead. You might do a left hand turn up here. Hopefully it's not a dead end. It could be. So that's basically the main street of Barwon Heads. Not a lot to it. It serves its purpose. Over on the right hand side here we've got the Barwon River. You see these houses up here on the left hand side. Some beautiful big homes overlooking the river. Now the average house price here in Barwon Heads is sky high. It's $1.418 million. So because of the location on the river and the surf beaches just nearby as well. Everyone wants to buy up big. We'll try and get a view of the river if we can. Won't get one from here. We'll have to maybe go down another street, but as you can see, these big homes here on the river. We'll try and get a view of the river, stand by, and we'll get there eventually. Righto, so there's the Barwon River on the left hand side. If we just get up, turn left here onto this, back onto the road here, we'll see the beautiful holiday homes. I reckon most of them are holiday homes along the river here. There's a beautiful big house there on the left. Have a look at that, overlooking the river, which is just beyond it there. Beautiful looking home. Now also in Barwon Heads here, the average house income weekly is $2,226, which is a fair bit over the Australian average, which is $1,759 a week. That's average household income. And as you can see, there a lot of holiday home sort of set up here. I said the river on the left and the homes on the right. And the crime rate here in Barwon Heads is only 22% per 1,000 people, which is unbelievable. That's one of the lowest I've ever seen. So it's a nice, safe place to come for a holiday. Now we're going to turn around to the right here. We'll get another view of the famous Barwon Heads Hotel. There it is, straight ahead. Pretty famous for having live bands in there as well. Last time I was in there was probably 30 years ago, I'd say. And they got an IGA here, just off the main street. So anyway, we'll do a Yui. We might head over now to Ocean Grove. That's about enough of Barwon Heads. It's a very small main street, more like a little village. And as I said, we'll head over to Ocean Grove. Actually, we're going to cross the bridge over the Barwon, so we might as well keep filming. And again, there's the pub on the right hand side. So there's a little coffee shop there on the left. And here's the bridge over the Barwon River. As you can see, it goes out into, I suppose that's Bass Strait out there on the right hand side. Not sure if you can pick it up. And there's the river there on the left. Okay, we'll see you in Ocean Grove. Well, we've made it over to Ocean Grove. As you can see, the surf's up, plenty of surfers out there. It's a beautiful part of the world too down here, just over the Barwon River from Barwon Heads where we've just come. So we'll go and have a bit of a look around Ocean Grove. First, we might go and have a look at a couple of the residential areas along the Barwon River there, because they are some nice houses. Apparently, I've never been here before. I have. It's been 30 years. A lot more newer homes now than what there used to be. So anyway, just stay with me and we'll head over back towards the Barwon. Righto, so we're along the Barwon again, on the other side from Barwon Heads. So the river's on the left here, as you can see, and the holiday homes, or they mightn't be holiday homes, they could be homes that people live in, are on the right hand side here. So we'll check some of them out. It's a beautiful area. The average house price here in Ocean Grove is $950,000. So it's up there, just short of $1 million. But you've got the beautiful Ocean Grove beach back there where we were before, and these homes along the Barwon, which make it really, really appealing to people with more money than I have. So these homes along here, they'd get a beautiful sunset when the sun's out, facing west over the water here. There's some beautiful homes along here. Have a look at these. Well, they'd be definitely worth more than $950,000. They're really nice. So there you go, there's some of the residential area of Ocean Grove. We might head over towards the main street now and I'll tell you a few more stats on Ocean Grove. Alright, so we're coming up to the main shopping area here in Ocean Grove. sure if it's a main street. It looks more like a sort of a square setup, if you know what I mean. And I might show you around. While I'm at it, the population in Ocean Grove has shot up in the last 15 or 20 years. 17,000 now. 17,714, which is unbelievable. We'll turn into the shopping sort of village here. So we've got a Coles on the left hand side and a liquor land straight ahead. And out of that 17,714, 47.4% are male and 52.6% are female. And the average age here in Ocean Grove is 43 years old. 84.1% of people here were born in Australia. 4.2% were born in England, and New Zealand gets in at 1%. As you can see, they've got a Baker's Delight there on the left hand side, and a pie shop, and a surf shop, which there's plenty of surf shops down this way. Bendigo Bank. So we'll drive around and see. I think there's a few other little shops around the corner. Now the main employment here is people working in hospitals. It's 5.8%. Primary school education again is 3.6%. Cafes and restaurants is 2.9%. So here's a nice little main street. I think it is. Is this a little main street? I think it is. Oh yeah, there we go. That's more than the little square I was just talking about. Chicken Burgers and Grill. There we go. So it's actually a nice looking main street. Nothing against Barwon Heads, but it is. There's a lot more people live here. It's got a lot more amenities than it does in Barwon Heads, but we are close to Geelong as well. Probably only 20 minutes by car, maybe half hour at the most on a busy day. Commonwealth Bank there on the right inside, and Home Hardware for the locals who want to do the old do-it-yourself stuff, I suppose. We'll turn left at these lights. Now the crime rate here in Ocean Grove is only 20.77 crimes per 1,000 people, which is even less than Barwon Heads, which I thought was low. People around here obviously don't carry on a lot, which is a good thing. Anyway, we'll head back down towards, I'll just do a quick U-turn and we'll head back down towards the main street there, because I had a nice view of the ocean. Stay with me. Here we go, so we just headed back in towards the business district in Ocean Grove. This is a bit tricky. Where do I go here? Left, then turn right and get a nice view of the ocean as we head down the hill. There's the Australia Post. Fish and chips. There's always fish and chips over by the beach. As you can see straight ahead there, there's a view of the ocean. It's not a great day today. It's overcast, it's been drizzling a bit. Anyway, we'll get a view of the ocean going down the hill. some lucky people who live in some houses along here that have got a beautiful view looking down there. You can't ask for much more than that, can you? It's magnificent. That's that looking out onto Bass Strait. Next stop Tasmania, maybe King Island or Flinders Island. Anyway, that's about enough of Ocean Grove. I've shown you all I can really show you here. So we'll see you in the next town. So here we are, we're at Point Lonsdale Lighthouse. I've actually got out of the car to film it, and it is blowing an absolute gale, so I hope you can hear me. So I'm just going to walk up here and I'm going to tell you a little story about a bloke shortly. But we'll just have a look across from the lighthouse here. There's a Point Lonsdale pier. And that's the rip there in front of us there, and the Port Phillip heads. Across the other side there's Portsea and Sorrento. And I'm not sure if you can tell on the camera there, but the rips in that water there is unbelievable. You wouldn't want to go swimming in there. You wouldn't come back. Anyway, just stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you a story about a bloke who was stuck down on the Bellarine Peninsula here, and he started off his adventure at the other side of the water there at Sorrento, a place called Sullivan's Bay. Just stay tuned. So I'm actually down in at Point Lonsdale, at an old searchlight encampment they call it, which was set up in World War I. And as you can see, you look out right over there, across the ocean, and then over towards the other side there, as I said, Portsea and Sorrento before. But there used to be a searchlight in here, and yeah, in there somewhere. So looking out, and I suppose if they saw ships coming, they've got the lighthouse there, but I don't know whether they use Morse code or what. But anyway, that's the lookout they had coming from here. Now I'll tell you about William Buckley now. Righto, down on the Bellarine Peninsula here, before it was even discovered by the people from England, in 1802 there was a bloke named William Buckley. He was convicted in UK and sentenced out to New South Wales for 14 years on the 2nd of August 1802 for receiving, believe it or not, a piece of stolen cloth, or a roll of stolen cloth, that he took back to his barracks. He was in the army back then, and unbeknown to him, this cloth was stolen, and got sentenced for 14 years for handling the stolen cloth. So anyway, in April of 1803, he left England on a boat called the HMS Calcutta. And it wasn't coming to Sydney, he was actually coming to Sorrento to set up across the water there, as I was saying, set up a new settlement, a new colony down here in Victoria. They already had Sydney and had Van Diemen's Land down in Tasmania. So anyway, they arrived in October 1803 and landed at Sullivan's Bay, which is right near Sorrento, basically where Sorrento is now. And due to they were there for about 2 months, couldn't grow anything, no veggies would grow. The convicts at the time were allowed to roam free because there was nowhere else to go. There was 950 kilometres between here and the nearest settlement, which was Sydney. So they were allowed to just roam freely. But they were also building huts and or houses, try and start up a settlement. And as I said, with the soil, or sandy based soil, nothing grew. There was no vegetation, no fresh water. So after a while they decided to say, right, abandon Sorrento and head down towards Tasmania, down to Van Diemen's Land. But William Buckley and 5 of his mates, they didn't want to go down there. They said, oh, I'm not going down there, it's cold enough here, it'll be colder down there. So they fled. They fled the Sullivan's Bay camp and just took off. And the people there, the soldiers and the other soldiers and the people in charge, just let them go. They said, well, they got 950 kilometres to go by foot, no roads or anything back then. no, they won't survive, and that's too bad. So anyway, what they did, they started walking around Port Phillip Bay from Sorrento, which is on the other side. After a couple of days, 3 gave up, 1 was shot, and one of them was shot, and then they ended up, the other 3 blokes ended up walking all the way around, about 180 kilometres I think, around Port Phillip Bay, past where Melbourne is now, ended up back down here on the Bellarine Peninsula. Anyway, stayed down here for a while. Two of the blokes got absolutely, they were starving and dying of thirst and all that sort of thing. So they decided to go back. William Buckley said, no, I'm not going back, I'll just fend for myself. So you got to think, back in 1803 there was nothing here. So anyway, the 2 blokes made it back around. William Buckley decided to stay here by himself, and he was starving at the time and you know, thirsty and all that sort of thing. Anyway, he came across an old camp left by a few Aboriginal people, and there was a spear on the ground there, and there was actually still fire embers burning and fresh fish still left behind. So he got himself a feed of fish, some water, had some fresh water, and there was a cave nearby. So after a few days, he got his strength up, he could walk around, and he started foraging for berries and seafood for survival, which he did for a while. And then he became he met 3 Aboriginal men who befriended him. And as William Buckley was about 6'7" back in those days, and a big white man, and these blokes saw him as some sort of, I don't know, godlike creature, I suppose, I don't know. But they invited him back to their tribe. He went there for a while. They fed him, they taught him a few of the ways of the land. They asked him to stay, and he said, no, I'll go back to being by myself. So he went back to being by himself, mainly towards the Barwon River where we were earlier, around Ocean Grove, Barwon Heads. But then winter set in, and it became miserable. So he walked back towards the where the local tribe was. I think they're called Wutherong people or something like that. And they basically adopted him. And he ended up staying with them for 32 years. And he actually got married to one. He had a child with one of the Aboriginal women. But he wasn't allowed to, so he was adopted by the tribe, but he wasn't allowed to fight in tribal wars, which apparently there was quite a few back then. And he did mention that there was quite a few deaths amongst the tribes. Yeah, so in 1835, up at a place called Indented Head, which is a few kilometres up the coastline from here, there was a ship moored there, English colony. They were going to set up in Melbourne. And William Buckley saw the ship, and the local Aboriginal people saw it, and the local Aboriginal people were going to slaughter him, apparently. Anyway, William Buckley said, no, let's befriend them, and he didn't want to, because he was scared of being captured. He was on the run for 32 years, and he thought he was still an escaped convict. So anyway, they approached the ship, and William Buckley announced who he was, said it was William Buckley. His English wasn't as good then as what it used to be, and he actually had a tattoo on him from when he was arrested or came out on the ship with WB, some numbers on there, identified who he was. And so he was actually pardoned and actually left the tribe here and actually went up to Melbourne to work for the government after that, believe it or not, after living with a tribe here for 32 years. And so he became a mediator between the Aboriginal people at the time and the local government, because he could speak the Aboriginal language. He was worth gold to the local government people in Melbourne. So anyway, because he was in cahoots with both sides, the English settlers and the Aboriginal people, both sides actually became a bit suspicious of him, and he got enough of it. He said, I've had enough of that. So he actually moved down to Tasmania, down to Van Diemen's Land, and worked down there. Yeah, so as I was saying, he was under suspicion from both sides of being in cahoots with each other. So he left, moved to Tassie in 1838, and ended up working down there and living down there, and actually got married down there again. and actually died down in Tasmania in 1856 when he fell off a cart, a horse and cart. Fell off and hit his head and actually died. There's an incredible story down on the Bellarine down here of this William Buckley, how he lived amongst the Aboriginal people for 32 years back in those days, and it's almost like the original Robinson Crusoe story. You know, it's incredible story. Not enough has been said about it. I don't think. There has been a movie made, it's not a bad movie. It's okay, but anyway, it's a fascinating story and great bit of history of the Bellarine Peninsula. Okay, so we're headed up towards coming up to the main street in the beautiful little town of Point Lonsdale, which is in an unbelievable location. And same as the other towns down here, it's got a small main street, but Point Lonsdale is in a beautiful spot. You can see there's all these coffee shops on the left hand side here. Real touristy sort of setup. And then you've got the beach just to the right hand side there over the road. You can see it shortly. Well, it's all full of cars now, but there is a beach there, believe me. But it is a beautiful main street. Only a small one, but really nice. Righto, the population here there's a nice old Anglican church. I think they call it Anglican here in Point Lonsdale. Now, the population of Point Lonsdale is 3,788, which probably doubles or triples in the high season in summer. Would for sure. So we're driving down some of the residential area now. A lot of these would be holiday homes. Out of that 3,788, 46.3% is male, 53.7% is female. The average age is 61, which is really high, actually 61. Probably mostly retirees down here, it's a big retirement area. 82.2% of those people also born in Australia, 3.7% in England, and New Zealand is 1.2%. Now, the main industry of employment here in Point Lonsdale is hospital workers. People who work in hospitals, probably down towards Geelong way somewhere. Cafes and restaurants, 3.1%, which makes sense as the main street in Point Lonsdale here. It's basically full of restaurants. And primary school educators is 2.7%. We're going to head back up the main street here. You get a bit of a view of the beach on the left hand side. Out there on the left. And coming up the main street again. There's not a lot to these towns apart from the main street and mainly holiday homes. Average household income here in Point Lonsdale is $1,554 a week, which is definitely higher than the Australian average. Well, actually, it's not higher than the Australian average, it's actually below. Probably a lot of pensioners, that's why. And the average house price here is $1.2 million, which is pretty hefty. There's on the left hand side there, that's the Point Lonsdale Bowls Club. What a view that have, playing bowls overlooking the ocean. Rip view lookout. I mean, we had one there from Point Lonsdale Lighthouse before. And crimes per 1,000 people is only 12.41 crimes per 1,000 people, which is lower than the other two, which I said was low. So that's That's unbelievable. That's as close as next to nothing. 12 in 1,000. So anyway, that's about enough of Point Lonsdale now. We'll head on to the next town, which is Queenscliff, which is not too far away from here. So just do a U-ey and head back down towards Point Lonsdale again, the main street. And we'll see you in Queenscliff.